Tom, you've described that we're in a cold civil war, and I believe that. We view it from the economic perspective, so it's an economic war. But even what you're sharing, this idea of mandating quotas, that pops up in the investing realm. For example, in ESG, the G, the governance, is you have to have a quota system on the board of directors, a certain number of women, a certain number of minorities, a certain number of LGBTQ. That seems to run contrary to what is optimal for corporations in the economy of America. Can you comment on that?
Yes. In this case, I'm very libertarian. Look, the job of a corporation is to make money, period. If we as a society want to limit or regulate them in some respect, justifiable in some cases. But at the end of the day, you're going to get the best products, the best service, the fairest, if you simply let corporations focus on profits and not, for example, what they call it stakeholders. When I started in the investment business in the late 70s. I ran a bank in the early 80s. And they kept telling me, I had to think about stakeholders, right? No, I think the best way to deal with stakeholders, the best way to make money for your investors is to focus on profits and let them give the money away, right? If they want to give the money away, great. But they didn't invest in my bank for me to give it away.
I would take that even further. I think the profit motive is the best way to help the stakeholders. For example, who are the stakeholders of a restaurant? The customers, the employees, the dishwashers, the management, the society at large. If you shortchange any of those groups, your restaurant's going to fail. If you treat your employees poorly, they'll leave, go work for somewhere else. If you don't provide a good food at a fair price, your customers will leave. They'll go somewhere else. If you pollute the streets, they'll come in and the health department will shut you down. So I think by being driven to profit, you actually look at all the stakeholders and have to take them all into account. What do you thought?
I agree. It depends where you start. I would say I start with, I want to make as much money as I can within the rules, and I recognize that that will benefit all my stakeholders. That's a little different than starting with, I want to help my waiters, right? I think it gets you to a little bit different point. If you focus on profits, the consequences, as you just said, will be better for all stakeholders.
Right, because if you pay $100,000 a month in salary to a dishwasher, taking it to an absolute extreme, you're out of business and dishwasher is unemployed. You have to let the free market make these decisions wherever possible, and the profit motive ensures that the free market makes the right decisions.
Right. If you underpay your dishwasher in the restaurant across the street, it's going to entice that dishwasher, right? People think that businesses, are bad and they control wages. Businesses have very little ability to control wages in a competitive market, right? Because if you underpay, there's somebody else that's willing to give somebody a fair return.